I never knew fish jollof rice can be this delicious until I tried this recipe, and today I'm going to share with you how to cook the perfect fish jollof rice. Hey precious jewels, welcome back to the channel. Follow this step-by-step guide whenever you're making your fish jollof rice and I guarantee you a perfect result always. To begin, you're going to be needing some fish and I'm using mackerel fish for mine. You can use any kind of fish you prefer. One of the things you should have in mind whenever you're making or cooking your fish jollof rice is that you need a quality fish broth or fish stock. The same way you season your chicken, your turkey, your beef for a perfect result, that same way you should season your fish always. So I started by adding some sliced onion, I added some blended Scotch bonnet pepper and cayenne pepper, I added some seasoning cube, dried thyme, curry powder, I also added some salt. Then I added water. The quantity of water is enough water, just enough water to cook the fish. Now I'm going to give it a good stir to combine so that all the ingredients will mix properly with the fish. And after that, I'll cover and allow it to start cooking. So to save time, I already have most of my ingredients prepped. I have some tomato paste, chopped tomato, green, yellow, and red bell pepper, sliced onion, some curry leaf, and some chopped carrot. Then I have a blended tomato and pepper mixture over there, and as usual I'll be leaving the full list of ingredients in the description box, so do well to check it. So now let's dive into the cooking process. I started by heating up the pot. I added some vegetable oil, just enough oil to cook the rice because it's going to be much. Let it heat up a little, cooking on low heat please. I added the sliced onion and I'm going to add some dried thyme. I also added some dried rosemary. I'm cooking on low heat because I want all of those flavors to be gently extracted. I also added some chopped curry leaf and some bay leaf. Having a well flavored oil when making your jollof rice is going to up the aroma and the taste of your food. Now I'm going to stir and allow that to fry a little bit before I added the tomato paste. I stirred that properly and allowed it to fry until the tangy taste or the sour taste is completely gone. Now I'm going to check on the fish. By this time our fish is well cooked. You can see the look of this fish broth. I'm going to separate the fish from the fish stock and then set the fish stock aside. At this point, most people want to sieve their fish stock, but I don't advise that. You see those things inside the fish stock is what we are looking for to cook our jollof rice. Now back to the pot where the tomato paste was frying. I'm going to add the chopped tomato and I have this leftover pepper mix. This is a combination of Scotch bonnet pepper, tomato and cayenne pepper. I added it to the pot and I also have some blended Scotch bonnet pepper and cayenne pepper. I also added it. Now the cayenne pepper in this is not too spicy, so don't worry, and our rice is going to be a lot, so it's not going to be too much. Now I added it and gave it a very good mix to combine. Once it is properly combined, what I like to do immediately is to begin to add my seasoning. And I added 2 sachets of chicken seasoning to this. You can add your preferred seasoning of choice. If you want fish seasoning, you can go ahead and do that. Now I added my all-time favorite Sazon seasoning, and after that I'm going to go in with some Aromat seasoning powder, some all-purpose seasoning, and some crushed seasoning cubes. I also added some salt to it. Afterwards, I gave it a very good stir to combine and allowed it to fry for some minutes. If you're still watching till this time, I'm sure you're enjoying the process. Kindly give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to drop a comment of what you think about this recipe. Share this video to your loved ones and do not forget to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. Kindly click on the subscribe button. Subscription is completely free. I let that to fry for a few minutes before I remove some of the tomato. You're going to see what I'll be doing with this. While the tomato was frying, I already washed the rice behind the scene and I poured into a strainer and allowed water to drain. So now I'm going to be adding the rice into the pot. I'm using a local Nigerian rice for mine. You can use any type of rice that you prefer. Now once I added added the rice, I'm going to give it a very good mix to combine. So I added the rice not at once because I didn't want the sauce to be more than the rice or the rice to be more than the sauce. After stirring it very well, I noticed I needed a little bit of sauce, which I then added and gave it a very good mix. Now I'm going to go in with the fish broth. You can see how quality it is looking. So I added everything to the pot and went in with some water. Now the quantity of water you'll be adding in addition to the fish stock depends on the kind of rice you're using. Some rice can be hard, so needs lots of water to cook, and some can be very soft that you just need little water to cook. So know the kind of rice you're using whenever you're making your jollof rice. Now I'm going to taste and adjust seasoning. I added a little bit of salt and I stirred properly together. Now if you're not sure about the kind of rice you're using, it is best to add the water bit by bit. Check on the rice and add the water bit by bit instead of having a mushy or sticky rice. You wouldn't like that at all. Now I added a little bit of water, stirred everything properly, tasted again, and everything was just fine. So I added some curry leaf and some bay leaf. After that, I covered and allowed it to start cooking. Next is to fry the fish. Now if you want to, you can air fry your fish, but for today's recipe I'm going to be deep frying in a hot oil until the water in the fish has dried up. And to save time, I moved it to the next stove and it is time to fry my veggies. Now in a pan I added a little bit of oil. Let it heat up a little before adding some chopped onion. Now I'm going to allow that to fry for some minutes, and when the aroma began to fill up the kitchen, I added the chopped carrot and next I added the chopped green pepper. Now I'm going to add all of the vegetables at once. I went in with the yellow bell pepper and the red bell pepper. Now I'm going to season with just a seasoning cube, and then I added my Sazon seasoning. You can season your veggies with any preferred seasoning of choice, but I would prefer you go with this little amount of seasoning, not too much. I added a little bit of sauce after adding the Sazon and a little bit of dried Cameroon pepper. Now I'm going to stir everything to combine and allow that to fry. So another thing I did was to debone the head of the fish. I removed the part that has flesh on it like this. I added it to the pot, gave it a good mix with the vegetables and allowed it to fry for a few minutes. One thing you will notice when you're frying this is that because of the fresh veggies and the fish, it will start releasing some water. What you have to do is, if you want to, you can turn up your heat on high heat and allow the water to dry up, or you can do it just the way I'm doing it now. Now I felt like if I allowed it to dry up, the veggies are going to overcook, which is what I don't want. So rather I used my draining spoon to separate the vegetables from the water. Now after that, I'm going to set my vegetables aside. So next, I checked on the fish that was frying. At this point, I already turned the fish on both sides and the fish is dried just the way I want it. As you can see, it has turned golden brown. Now I removed the fish from the oil, transferred it into a pan, and now this is what we'll be doing. The sauce that I removed earlier, I'm going to be adding it to the fish. I added it to the fish, and once the fish is completely coated with the sauce, I'm just going to allow this sauce to cook into the fish for just a few minutes. And while that was frying, I checked on the rice. At this point, the rice was well cooked and there was no water in it anymore. I just gave it a very good stir to combine. And the next thing I did was to add the vegetables and the fish that I fried earlier, and I began to stir to combine. Now I added the vegetables bit by bit because I already had a full pot, so I didn't want any of them to pour away. And once I am done adding all the vegetables in the plate into the pot, I stirred properly to combine. And once it was properly combined, I set it aside and removed the fish with the sauce and place in another plate. And that is it, guys. Our fish jollof rice is ready. Now, by the look of this, you should already know that it tasted so good. Tell me you're going to be trying this recipe because you're going to be hooked. This jollof rice tasted so good. Now, if you watched till this time, thank you very much for watching. Please do not forget to like this video, leave a comment, share so that more people can find this video, and do not forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so that you'll be the first to know whenever I drop this kind of recipes. Thank you very much for watching. See you in my next one. Bye.